Nobody, your psychological games just got weirder. What's up, YouTubers of the world? Make Geek Mixer here to give you guys episode 7 of the Doom Patrol. And like I said in the intro, nobody's psychological attacks just got weirder. It turns out, well, he had a little friend helping him out this time. You see, nobody this whole time in this entire episode was attacking the Doom Patrol psychologically. Or better yet, he's been doing that since last week's episode. But this time, whoa, man. Whoa, it's insane. But basically what this episode went on starting with about was the fact that it was showing each and every member of the Doom Patrol from their past as kids to the point to today, in other words, the present time of today for them, to when they were all getting together for a little group therapy, which was Cliff's idea. And by the way, like I keep saying over, guys, what great acting by each of these guys. But real quick, let's go into each individual scenes for these guys because they fit so well together here. First off, you've got oh yeah, you've got Rita. Okay, so even though Rita has said she's gonna move on from being Rita Farr, it turns out that's easier said than done, which is no surprise. I mean, hey, look at Dick Grayson when he decided he needed to stop being Rob and he needed to find his own new identity. He was lost with that for a while. He didn't know what to do. And no doubt that's what Rita's journey's going to be now. She's got to figure out who she will be without Rita, since Rita was all she was, especially when we saw the scene with her parents meeting an actress for her. You see, when she was younger, she was a pageant girl, and she won and met a star. And that's how we learned that Rita Farr wasn't exactly her real name. It makes you wonder what her real name was before she became Rita Farr. Maybe they have that in the encyclopedia of the DC universe. I should check that out. Yeah. But still, that and knowing that, like, while she's still having trouble with figuring out who she is, that also affected her powers because, man, did we get a funny scene here. Like, she looked like she was all dressed up and ready, and then she gets blobby again and falls right into a furnace. But here's something interesting. She mentions something of a rat, which actually comes into play here later, and that was a very funny foreshadowing right there, especially when we finally saw it. Very nice foreshadowing on that end. I loved that. But now why don't we head on over to Larry's side of things. So Larry and that being were again having their converse, and of course Larry kept getting sent back in time to the moment he regretted, back when he was having that his affair with his boyfriend and stuff, and he wasn't sure what that being negative man inside him was trying to tell him, and he just kept getting more and more confused. But still, we also learned that when he was a kid, his mother was already pretty much figuring it out that he's gay, or as she put it, queer. But details, and how that was going to affect them for church and everything. And this is all back in the 1935s and stuff. So people back then were very shallow and very not accepting. But nowadays in 2019 and stuff, people are being more open and accepting. Some not so much, or kind of are and still working on it. But still, at least it's way better than what it was back in those times in the 1930s. Way better on that end. However, though, what it is, I still don't get it, I guess. But then again, what am I saying? Larry having to take off his bandages when he's sleeping? I guess that makes sense. I mean, how are you going to be able to sleep without it? But then again, I guess he has been able to sleep without them still. But it was still really great, though, to see him and the negative man conversing here. I think still, though, what I'm wondering, though, is how are we ever going to see what it is the negative man's trying to tell him? Who knows? But then we go on moving over to Cyborg's side of things. And it turns out he when he changed off everything and got all his things back from his protective parent Silas Stone, it turns out when he became Cyborg, all his crazy, what was that, crazy profile or something or other, had all sorts of notifications and stuff. And this is where he was starting to try to get back into being normal, talking with people and everything. And it wasn't really working out, especially with this one girl he at first was and seeming like he could become a new friend or a girlfriend. But when he saw her picture of her, yeah, too bad there, man. Because yeah, it turns out Grid was able to also make him see her when she was on the bus. A little stalkish, don't you think? But even though there's also still the fact that Silas and him still aren't on common grounds, but that's just because Cyborg stole his thumb drive and everything. But now this is where it's going to get into some interesting things here. But before we get into that, why don't I real quick go into Jane? We saw her as a baby, and I don't quite get that. Quite get it. It looks like her parents were neglecting her or something. If she did, I wonder why. Wish we got a little more detail on that. Maybe we will. But here's the thing, though. Jane is very pissed at Niles. She's been funny how she was pissed at Robot Man. Now she's pissed at Niles because she doesn't like what he did to the first Doom Patrol, and now she's feeling he's going to do the same. Or more of most of her personalities think so. Jane's just mad and doesn't really believe that. But we'll see how that goes, because right now, that was a really short thing. And then we go into Cliff, who was pretty much the connection to all this. At first, it looked like Cliff was having a psychological breakdown, especially after he found out that his daughter, Claire, his daughter Clara now had a new father, Boomer, that guy who was from the first episode, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and we see this scene where it looks like he took the bus and went over to the town where Boomer was. I don't recall him ever like checking it out, because if I'm not mistaken, it looked like this took place right after those guys came back from Doom Patrol. There was no day that went by or anything. This was just the next day. And after he smashed it, how could he have found out about it? And this is where I really started to believe nobody was attacking the team psychologically, because it turns out he never went to Boomer's house. He just thought he was seeing him just as he was seeing Clara by looking at Jane, and he was seeing Boomer as he was looking at Cyborg. And that's when I was like, this has definitely got to be nobody attacking and everything. Of course, when he finally got a grip on himself, he decided we need to have a group therapy, talk about our inner demons here. And this is where we actually get to see most of them and how they're feeling about everything. For one, Larry, even though Mr. Nobody's been torturing these guys, he's already been doing the work for him, which I'm pretty sure none of us are surprised about. We've been seeing that from the beginning, and I really hope we can find a way to get through this. And, well, who am I kidding? He sounds like he's already starting to get the point to it, because that's the same with Rita when she told everyone that she's decided to leave Rita Farr behind, but at the same time, she doesn't know who she's going to be without being Rita Farr. But her being able to finally confess that made her legs grow back and stuff, because during when she was in the furnace, all she could get were really her hands and her upper body and her head back to normal, while everything else was a blob. Although there was that funny scene where her head was just there and everything else of her was a blob, almost like she was a humanoid caterpillar. But here came what really started to throw things off. Unfortunately for Crazy Jane, as we all know her, she doesn't play well with this group therapy and is pretty much an asshole. Basically, almost all our personalities are. But this time, though, it looks like her and Cliff are really having their breakdown. Because, yeah, like I've said before, Robot Man and Crazy Jane are pretty much the closest to each other. Yeah, it's like the Chief is the closest to Crazy Jane, and then Robot Man's the next one next to it. But after what happened and how she brutally went out to him saying he'll never be a father again because he's a robot, well, that's when he went off and said, I'm the only one who likes you, and I only like 1/64th of you. That broke Jane's heart, and she just ran off. But it turns out all this stuff that was going on with Cliff, it turns out it was all a rat named Mr. Whiskers. Or no. It was Admiral Whiskers. Admiral Whiskers. Why? Well, it turns out that Admiral Whiskers, when he was and back in episode 3, when he was little, he had a mother who died because they were all driving out and she got killed. And it turns out Mr. Nobody had talked to that little dude saying, you want revenge? And that's exactly what it was. Admiral Whiskers wanted revenge. And he went inside Cliff, and inside him, he messed with all the circuitries in him until he finally came out from his mouth. And this goes back into that little foreshadowing I was talking about when Rita was talking about no rats in the furnace. And now there's one coming out of Cliff's mouth. And she's like, oh no, get it away, get away, get away. Oh, I do not like rats. Get them away from me. It was so freaking hilarious right there, guys. And all this time, revenge. A rat got revenge on the Doom Patrol. Vengeance is everywhere, guys, and I do mean everywhere. I cannot believe that. Oh, this is what makes Doom Patrol so great. Its strength is the weirdness and the unpredictability, which I mentioned before. And the writing and the acting, these guys all sell it at it. They excel at their acting, says these guys. If I didn't, who am I kidding? These guys love to play their actors, no doubt about it. It's beautiful, guys, very beautiful. What's even more so, though, is like, what more can you expect? I mean, okay, I know there are some people who may sound like they're getting disappointed with it right now because it doesn't really seem to be moving the stretch forward. But we gotta remember, guys, this is the first season here, and these guys are just wanting the chief back. Maybe this will help them grow into becoming superheroes. Cyborg really being the only one, but now he's becoming more and more like these guys. But that's what I like about it. I mean, sure, these guys are based on superheroes, but what do they know about being superheroes when they got these old demons inside of them that they're working on? They're nothing like the Titans, because you got Grayson, who's already been Robin for so long, and you got... and now he's working on becoming Nightwing. And then you got some of his friends from the Titans. Raven, who's a demon, and she just doesn't really know how to use her powers, but no doubt coming season 2, she will learn about it. And so on and so forth. I could go on, guys, but I think I'll make another video, especially about the Titans, with some of the things I've heard about coming in season 2. But definitely, guys, great episode. It was lovely, and again, wait to talk about this with my friends on the DC Universe community as we watch along with this. But either case, guys, if you're enjoying my channel, all you gotta do is click the subscribe button, hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. Until then, Mega Geek Mixer signing out. Bye!